Actually breathe in my nostrils to make me move. We have fewer democracies in the world today than we... Fewer, not more, fewer. President Biden, can you hear me? That's a serious question, right?
And the President of the United States, Joseph R. Biden, Jr.
Let's go lick the world.
You ready to come live? Come live to Jimmy Dore.
Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. We have a special guest with us. But before I introduce him, I want to let you know what we're talking about. Now, Kash Patel's girlfriend, well, first of all, let me tell you, Kash Patel said he was coming for influencers who criticize Israel, and now he's suing them. Let's listen.
The simple answer, in my opinion, is social media is wildly out of control, and there's too much clickbait in this country. And one of the things I highlighted at Congress in my testimony last week was if we want to protect our youth, we got to get more involved in social media and online platforms, because that's where the folks, the assassins of this world, get radicalized. That's where they're the lone wolf actors in general. And so we have to get after that problem set. And I asked for Congress to help in doing so. But
and he's not kidding, because he's going, here it is. Our guest Elijah Schaffer says, I was just sued for $5 million over my Twitter post criticizing Israel by FBI Director Kash Patel's inner circle. I never engaged in defamation or illegal activity. Gross lawfare. This is an attack on free speech and an embarrassment to the FBI and the Trump administration. And so here's what he's accused of doing. There's a tweet that went out by Hen Mazig that said Mossad sent female operatives deep into Iran, seducing top officials, infiltrating government surveillance networks, and carrying out sabotage missions. You retweeted that with that picture, and that's it. So let me bring on the person, Elijah Schaffer. He's a journalist, podcaster, and television host known for his work on Blaze TV. He gained prominence from his on-the-ground reporting during the 2020 Black Lives Matter protests and from the Capitol grounds on January 6th. He left the Blaze in 2022. He's now the CEO of Rift TV, where he hosts the network's flagship show, The Rift Report. Welcome to the show, Elijah Schaffer. Hi, Elijah.
Hello, Jimmy. Good to be on the show today, and I wish it was better circumstances, but I'm still $5 million that I don't have richer than I might be, so hopefully we have a good ending to this.
So let me just give a real quick rundown. The Gray Zone did a great article on this, and so I just want to read a few paragraphs from it and get your reaction. They say Patel's tenure as FBI director appears to be unraveling in a series of embarrassing congressional testimonies and public meltdowns related to his suppression of Jeffrey Epstein's client list. Patel recently activated his legal network to fire back against his most voracious critics. However, the targets of his wrath are not deep state liberals or anyone resembling the Hillary Queenstown villain from his children's book, but the most ideologically zealous voices of America First movement, which is what Elijah is, who he's accused of slandering his girlfriend. 5 days earlier, the law firm of Jesse Banal, that's Patel's personal lawyer and chair of his foundation, filed a bizarre lawsuit accusing right-wing podcaster Elijah Schaffer of having perpetuated a malicious lie about Alexis Wilkins, that's his girlfriend, falsely claiming that she, an American-born country singer, is an agent of a foreign government assigned to manipulate and compromise the director. The suit also took aim at Schaffer because he frequently posts anti-Israel rhetoric, accusing Israel of controlling the United States and its politicians. So what is your response to these accusations?
Well, being sued over posting a captionless picture to where Alexis Wilkins, the sensational music star, as Kash described her, and then getting sued for $5 million over that. This is the legal equivalent of your wife divorcing you for cheating on her in her dreams. You know, it's like, it's like, well, how is this grounds for divorce? You know, she's coming after $5 million. And I think what's really important, there's two parts of this. The entire lawsuit has one picture as evidence for the lawsuit, and even says in the writings that Schaffer did not say anything. They called it a wordless act of defamation. That's the craziest thing I've ever seen. In fact,
here I have it here, Elijah. Here is a quote from the lawsuit. They say in their lawsuit, they say, while defendant may not have included any caption to spell out the meaning of his post. He didn't have to. What the F? Ever since Kash Patel was appointed the director of the FBI in February 2025, the conspiratorial corner of the internet and social media have been spreading of. By the way, that corner used to be helmed by Kash Patel before he was the FBI director. He was the corner of that conspiratorial corner. He was anyway. Spreading false narratives that Ms. Wilkins is an Israeli Mossad agent, spy, or honeypot who was only in relationship with Kash Patel to spy on and manipulate the United States. So they're admitting there. This is, by the way, this is directly from their lawsuit against you. This isn't a summary. This is directly from their lawsuit against you. And so aren't they admitting that you didn't do what they're claiming you did?
Yeah, they are, but what they're trying to do is, so they filed this motion in federal court, which is weird. Even my attorneys thought that was a bit charged, right? So they went up to federal charges here, asking for a jury trial, meaning they're trying to pressure me to settle, I think, and to accept guilt for doing nothing. This would be the first time that you defamed somebody based on them thinking you thought something that you never thought. This is an actual thought crime because I'm being sued for what she's saying I was thinking when I did something. So that's the first part that's weird. But the second part is, why was the entire lawsuit about anti-Israel rhetoric? That's the whole lawsuit. There's nothing about anything that I said about her, but there is a ton of stuff. There's like 8 different pieces of like severe evidence about how I criticize Israeli occupation of Congress, how I talk about how AIPAC has control of the horns of our congressmen and women, how Trump basically could have been a great president if he hadn't taken Adelson's money and decided to worship Netanyahu, even moving his seat in for him, humiliating the office of the presidency. Minding you, I voted for Trump 3 times. I'm not an anti-Trump guy, but it's hard to be a Trump guy these days when he continually spits on us over Israel. So I brought that up. But why, Jimmy? I mean, the question is why? The reason is because obviously my business is in a very Jewish area. This entire district here is primarily Jews. It's 52% Jewish where I live, where this would take place. So she's hoping to get a jury that would convict me because they think that I'm a bad person because she's trying to paint me as an anti-Semite. And that's what this is about. It's about character assassination, which is ironic because she's claiming defamation. Meanwhile, not only is she defaming me in the lawsuit, but now you have all these big Zionists like Will Chamberlain and some other guy who looks like, I don't even know how these people have weird physiognomy, but some large NGOs like connected to the circles of Josh Hammer that are now like suggesting that I'm possibly an agent of Russia, that I should register with far. Even Richard Spencer, who's like pretty notorious sort of far right individual, or like sort of right wing nationalist. Like we're not using the phrase far right anymore. Even is like, is this Tenet 2.0? So like I don't know what she's setting herself up for in terms of a lawsuit. But if she's afraid people were going to call her a honeypot, wow. Look at her posts. She has 800 comments of people putting Winnie the Pooh memes with her popping out of a honeypot, wearing bee costumes, and with one individual wrote a ballad called "My Honey, Honey, Honey Pot" that he wrote a beautiful classical a ballad on his piano and sung it. It was masterful. She did the Streisand effect. Now everyone's going to be calling her that, so that's her own punishment. But secondly, she is doing damage to me. She's costing me a lot of money in legal fees. My family, due to her proxy to the FBI, which I want to talk about with you, my issues with the FBI and where we think this might be a slap suit, government corruption suit. She's done something very foolish, which I can share in a bit. But if they don't withdraw the lawsuit, they're going to be in a very difficult situation. Not just to win, but in terms of what we're preparing to counter with, because we're not going to let the American people be treated like this. Just because I have the resources, if you want to donate to my fund, it's on my X, guys. You can. We're trying to raise money. It's going to cost a lot to fund this. They're very well funded. They're prepared. They're trying to bankrupt my company. But if they can do this to me, they can do this to anyone. We can't let people get sued for criticizing Israel, that especially not by proxies of law enforcement, so they get bullied into thinking they're going to get in trouble. Jimmy, I'm done with this. I'm so done. They would electrocute us, I believe, in a chair in 15 or 20 years for criticizing Israel if they had the ability to do so. And I'm not over exaggerating. That's these people have lost their damn minds.
So I don't think that they actually, for a second, think that they have a chance in hell to win this lawsuit. I think that this is 100% intimidation, not only for you, but everybody else who's thinking about criticizing Israel on social media. That's really what this is. And of course, they have made a huge mistake by doing this. And the huge mistake you already mentioned, it's called the Streisand effect. And the Streisand effect means when you try to silence someone or try to cover up something, it actually draws more attention to it. And so that's exactly what she's done. Now everybody's talking about her being a honeypot for Israel and all the ridiculous things that Kash Patel has said around it. He called her a country music sensation. And my question is, which country? Anyway, so that's a big mistake. Because it's happening. I'm talking about this on my show. There's the Gray Zone are writing articles. I know other YouTubers are doing videos about this, about your lawsuit. So now everybody's talking about her being a honeypot. Even people who never heard of it before are now going to hear about it. So that's a big mistake, and it just tells me that Kash Patel is actually dumber than anybody ever thought he was. Because this is one of the dumbest things he could do. But you've alluded to the fact that that she also made an even bigger mistake. Could you go into that?
Yeah, well, first of all, the one thing she did do right was Kash Patel actually suggested that she asked for $5 million in Walmart Google Play cards with a statement saying, "Do not redeem, Tsar. Please do not redeem." So we did throw that out of the lawsuit. But I think other than her lawsuit, the reason why she actually messed up, jokes aside, is okay, so she's acting like she's a private citizen who's just suing somebody for some sort of criticism that is making her unhireable. But one of the main things is that that would require her to not be a public figure. So number one, she didn't estimate that she's on IMDb. Private citizens in America who just don't have public personas, don't have screen and music credit, IMDb built profiles with professional headshots. Okay, you're our public figure, number one. Number two, you're dating the most notoriously famous head of law enforcement of any agency in the entire world, period. You're already of interest, common interest. And three, you literally work for political public organizations. She posted a picture like a week ago that was like 10 years at TPUSA. You mean the TPUSA? She has a microphone in front of a crowd where the president of the United States speaks, where the vice president just spoke, where the biggest assassination since JFK just occurred in political history. Yeah, you're not a private citizen. So now she has to prove malice. That's the key thing. And, anyone calling her a honeypot, that's actually a compliment to her and a diss on Patel. Because it's like you're basically saying, you look at the guy and have you seen him do a pull-up? I'm not even hating on another man, but it's just don't put the video up, Cash. If you can't do a pull-up, don't film yourself trying. And so, he's online going, "My schnookums, my baby wavy, everyone's so mean to her." So he's already implicated himself into this by referencing this case publicly. He's not married to her, so he has no immunity. That's the big mistake they made. And he said, "No one can treat my family like this. No one can treat my little baby, wavy, booby, wooby." And you're going, "Hey, buddy, she's not your family. So you know what we can do? I want to know this. If this is not a slap suit, if this is not a proxy of law enforcement intimidating someone, me, who's already had problems with the FBI for exposing that Ray Epps started January 6th, I exposed that. So then the federal government did what to me? The FBI opens up an espionage wiretapping investigation to my life because I have the footage. If anyone's seen the footage where Ray Epps is breaking down the barriers, they start to write, that was my footage. I initially cooperated with the FBI. I was like, "Yo, I got the smoking gun." It's, believe it or not, it's not you the maggots or the magatards or whatever you guys think it was. It's like literally this guy. And then they're like, "Dude, thanks for that information. Anyways, are you a domestic terrorist and a spy?" I'm like, "Huh?" And then went on to harass my family, cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal fees in court, and try to get no-knock warrants, take all my devices. So I've been dealing with that for the last 4 years. Now you have this new FBI director who comes from my end of the corner of the internet, who says that he's tired of lawfare. He doesn't want the FBI to be weaponized into lawfare. And then we find out that his girlfriend, who allegedly lives in Tennessee, is using his legal team. It's his firm, right? So it's the head of his foundation, the board director. This is like, they're too sloppy here. If our government is running like this, I'm scared it is, because this is crazy. If I was China, I'd be so happy Cash is in office right now. This is such a mess. But she uses his firm and files it out of a firm in DC. What are you filing out of DC? That's how we found this out. It's like, what are you doing in DC? Filing at a firm. That can't be your firm. You're in Tennessee, allegedly. Then we find out that the guy who's filing the lawsuit is literally his director. And then we also find out that he tweets out, the guy who filed the lawsuit, who runs the firm, didn't even clean up his tweet path. He tweeted out before she even publicly said she had a problem with the photo, yeah, I'm probably going to sue him. So it looks like this lawsuit was the initiated and was the idea, perhaps, of the board of director of the legal team of our FBI director. And it's a very expensive team. We have access to like sort of what these fees are. And you're going to tell me that getting 8,000 streams a week on Spotify, Alexis Wilkins, is paying top tier legal teams to launch federal lawsuits in courts? Where's this money coming from? That's a good question. Is it the same place that your boyfriend used a $60 million jet to go see you sing the national anthem or whatever that was at an amateur wrestling match? It's like a Napoleon Dynamite episode. You know, it's just, it's literally, it's insanity. But the point is that he does not have client privilege with the law firm, the legal team, because he's not her husband. And so we're going to find out what we're going to find out. We're going to find out what he knows, what he was told, how he's involved in this. And this seems like it could be a very clear-cut slap corruption case, because he was mad that Kyle Seraphin was saying that he was suggesting he was homosexual, but there's nothing he could do about it. So then they moved to this to try to get back at us. And I've been very critical of Cash. The weird part is he's only going after people that have been heavily critical of him. So everyone being prosecuted has been heavily critical of Cash Patel and his covering of the Epstein files. And now he's caught was that with Marjorie Taylor Greene, or who was he with today? Lobbying them to not try to release the Epstein files.
Lauren Boebert.
Lauren Boebert. Yeah. Who's doing that? So we got this very sketchy corruption going on. And in the process, either he's being used by his girlfriend and he's a simp and he's going ahead and he's, being blinded by his other head, as we call it, or he knows what's going on and he's incompetent. Either way, he should resign, because this shows this guy, we've already seen his girlfriend say things during interviews that seem to be intelligence information. And so that's what we want to know. Do they share phone numbers? Do they share information? What's going on here? And now basically, if they want to go to trial and discovery, we believe that the federal government just opened up the director of the FBI to discovery, considering the fact that he also used government jet to communicate with her and to fly to her. We have proof that he's using government assets now to communicate with his girlfriend. So we have the legal tenure and request to acquire those. And if he doesn't comply under immunity, so if he goes, the attorney general or somebody gives him immunity, that'll already be an admission of guilt. And we got a slap case there as well, and a countersuit. So this is one of the stupidest things you could do. And this just reminds me of a high school sweetheart whose girlfriend can do no wrong. But we still don't know what she sees in him. Apparently, I guess money to file lawsuits. I guess he's rich. I didn't know that. So good to know.
Can you explain to the people what a slap lawsuit is, so they know what that is and what he just opened himself up to?
Yeah. So I'm not going to give away too much of this specific case here, but essentially, in reverse, we are basically proving it's corruption by proxy. So I'm not a lawyer, so I could be a little bit off here, but I guess a good example is, when you see Russiagate, just kind of explain what this proxy lawfare looks like. You can't find anything on Trump, so you launch corner investigations onto people around him that are not Trump. You find things that are unrelated to Russiagate. You get people in jail for unregistered firearms. That's a sort of level of lawfare proxy corruption. Well, the idea is maybe the government, we are legally allowed to criticize Patel. We're going after him. He's embarrassed. He doesn't know what to do. So he's sort of using someone by proxy to lock us up in lawfare with egregious accusations that we will never stand, that we can't win, for the purpose of sort of like exhausting us, locking us up into lawfare. He's essentially using the court system and weaponizing the court system to just drain energy, money for an ulterior motive. That's not what they're stating in the lawsuit. And it does appear to be like that. And it's a little bit different than that. I mean, it's this case. I don't want to give away the exact explanation to this case specifically, because I don't want to explain what it is that we are bringing out to the courts, but it's malicious, unfounded weaponization of the legal system. And we do believe that this is with the amount of this is to say this is, I've had to send my family away to another state because of the government, the FBI specifically, trying to raid my house multiple times before. And now that we're in proxy, my own legal counsel suggested, leaving and separating us because of, saving them from any potential, interference. And that's causing emotional drama. It's separation of family. These are real damages that we're quantifying. This is already costing tens of thousands of dollars up front. She's causing real emotional, family, and actual quantifiable damage. And she's also trying to ruin my reputation with this whole suggesting I'm a foreign agent. And in the end, she's probably going to get nothing unless the courts are twisted and fall for what she's saying, but in the end, now everyone's going to roast her for the rest of her life and call her a honeypot. This was the stupidest move. And she just compromised the FBI director. What are these people thinking, Jimmy? What the hell is this?
Honest, that's why I said I just think that Kash Patel is way dumber than anybody ever imagined. And I can't believe there isn't a smart person somewhere in their orbit inside the Trump administration that tells them how stupid this is. I mean, I guess since they're telling everybody that the Epstein didn't work with intelligence and there was no trafficking operation and that you're weak and stupid, you're an idiot if you think so. I guess they don't care very much what people actually think. I really don't know there doesn't seem to be someone with a thinking brain on this issue at all working over in the Trump administration. And, Max Blumenthal even tweeted out, he said, by activating his own legal network, meaning Kash Patel, by Kash Patel activating his own legal network to sue his critics using his girlfriend as a proxy, Kash Patel has made himself a witness and opens himself to discovery, as you've been talking about, meaning defendants, meaning yourself, can seek his text exchanges with his girlfriend. And he's risking the FBI's operational security to save his relationship. That's according to Max Blumenthal. So that's exactly what he's doing. Honestly, I can't believe that Kash Patel is this dumb, but apparently he is. And I just wanted JB broke it down perfectly. He said Kash Patel spent years playing the influence tough guy routine, chasing clicks, doing every podcast under the sun, branding himself as the guy who was coming for the corrupt. Now suddenly he wants to play establishment enforcer and silence anyone who criticizes Israel? Spare me. The FBI director is out here talking about social media being out of control and openly pushing to censor the internet. And right on cue, Kash's girlfriend is suing Elijah Schaffer for $5 million. Perfect timing, perfect optics, perfectly corrupt. This dude built his name on clickbait and outrage until he got close to the government machine. Then he flipped. Now he pretends there's no corruption, pretends he's some defender of justice, and tries to take down critics the moment power pats him on the head. Controlled opposition at its finest. They're not protecting America. They're protecting their handlers. Wow, I think that was very well said. Let me just show you one more. The Patriot Voice tweets out, Kash is acting like the government gangsters he once wrote about. He wrote a book, I think, called Government Gangsters. This is a full-blown authoritarianism and government tyranny. I really am surprised they think they could get this past their base, because their base is very allergic to government overreach and authoritarianism. Let me just show you. I saw this tweet from Dr. Simon Gadek.
This was crazy.
He said, Elijah, I'm really sorry for what you're going through, but you do remember when I visited you and got detained at the border? They interrogated me, asked endless questions about you, why I hate Kash Patel, what my stance on Israel was, and what we were planning to talk about. Now that you've been sued, it's hard to believe this is just coincidence. It's honestly shocking to watch your country being held hostage like this. So they're doing this at the behest of Israel. They're stopping everybody coming back into a country, the United States. I know Max Blumenthal got stopped. Other journalists got stopped. Anybody speaking out against Israel is getting stopped now when they're coming back into the country. And he apparently got detained at the border also and was asked questions about you. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, he was literally detained. They took all of his devices. They put spyware on his devices. By the way, this is all documented. Not like Cash. This is not clickbait. This genuinely occurred, and they were asking him. We now believe this was an order. Actually, we didn't know if it's from Cash, but we do know that it was authorized by Randy Fine. And so what it was, he was detained and he was cornered. Like, why are you coming on an anti-Semitic show? Why are you coming out here to criticize Israel? Like, why are you going on Elijah Schaffer's show? What do you think about Elijah Schaffer? And what's about your criticism of Cash? And they treat him like a criminal. He thought he was going to go to prison, and they literally cornered him and were like, you don't have any rights. They told him that to his face. You're not an American citizen. You don't have any rights in here. You're going to tell us whatever you know. And so it's insane. They did that over him coming on my show. They're detaining our guests at the airport. Okay. He was traumatized. There's no justice for that. But also when you look at this, it's like, I don't know if you know this, it's gotten so bad. People know I'm dual Australian American. I live between the two countries. I did before I recently got banned from Australia for similar political beliefs, despite having residency there. Very weird. I've been unable to go back, currently, working on that in court. Candace just lost her court case from what I saw too, so that's not good. But let's see what we can do. But anyway, the point is that what is the purpose of this? The point is that people now are being prosecuted and questioned for their positions and their support of Israel, and there's literally no respect for the rule of law. There's no respect for the Constitution. And you expect people like in Australia to be banned for questioning the wrong thing. You expect people to be arrested in the UK because they have no First Amendment rights. But in the United States, are we really going to tolerate this? And so I think we're post-partisanship, Jimmy. I think we are past the left and the right now. We are sort of like, if we can't, if AIPAC controls our primaries, if the ADL can control the sell of TikTok, Jonathan Greenblatt, if we as a society, you can't go on podcast guests without be a guest on a podcast without being questioned of being an anti-Semite. And even for me, if you can't even criticize Israel without being sued for $5 million, I have a pretty damn clear question for the United States government. Are we really an independent country? Are we actually a republic? Do we genuinely have rights in this nation? Or are you going to continue to prove to us that we are occupied by a foreign influence regime that people say should be registered under FARA? I think it should be removed from the country. I think it should be illegal. I have experienced the brunt end of this. And, I have to say, like, it's so bad. I just got an employee from another first world country, another Western country. I won't give much details, to get him his work visa. And this is not an H-1B. He's a highly skilled individual, Caucasian dude, programmer that is helping me on a very specific project for a temporary job. And he was asked about his opinions on Israel and whether he supports Israel at the U.S. embassy at his country. And he said they were asking like an Asian guy, Chinese guy, who's like, I do not speak it. I don't know what you're saying. He's like sitting there confused, like, what do you think about Israel, Shenzhen? Like, what do you think about Israel? It's like, what is Wang Pei and his friends trying to work in the U.S.? What does them caring about Israel matter? They're asking at the embassy level before you can get a work visa if you support Israel. So, like, to me, this has gone past the point of comfortability. This is not about being anti-Semitic. This is not about hating Jews. This is not about, I'm just tired of all these excuses. This is not about, somehow believing Israelis don't have the right to some homeland. Doesn't mean their homeland, not that spot, but, that they should all die. No. Save your hogwash. Save your bullshit. I don't want to hear about it. The truth is, we all know that it's not just financial punishment. It's not just opportunities lost. It's not just promotions not gained. It's not just dinners not invited to. They're on a full-on assault, these very corrupt Zionist powers here, to to renege on our Constitution and to control us through force, censorship, financial abuse, slap proxy corruption lawsuits, and of course, algorithmic manipulation or the forced sale of your company if you don't comply. And, if people don't want to accept that, I assume they're on the payroll. Enjoy your $7,000 club check. And unfortunately for the internet, they're not getting $7,000. They're getting a lot more than that. I have friends who make well over 6 figures a month, doing the bidding of these people. I get offered money on a regular basis. I talk about it all the time. They try to get me to go to their country, do all these things, and I don't comply. So I started Rift TV, Jimmy, as the first mainstream right-wing network it was supposed to be that didn't take money from Zionist influences so we could tell the truth. And I think we've moved past the right wing. I think we've moved past the left wing, and we're not going to have a country to debate left or right wing policies for if all of our policies just end up being for Israel. And even if you're right wing or you're left wing, I think we're all in the same boat here. To my communist friends, my socialist friends, my libertarian friends, you're all getting screwed. And our government is not serving us. And we're going to have a unified populace rising beyond the two-party system to really affect change. And I think we're making that change. Just know I'm not going to be the last, and they'll probably kill more of us. Not saying they did, but rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. He flew a little too close to the sun. We don't know who did it, but we know there was motive. And my heart breaks, and I never want to forget his name. Thank you for letting me explain my case here. And I hope everyone, if you can donate to my legal fund, I hate to be like that. It's on my X account at Elijah Schaffer, or you can watch my show if you don't have any way to support Rift TV. You can watch it on YouTube and on Rumble. We're live all the time. We have a lot of great shows, and it's all this kind of content. But always watch Jimmy first. He's one of the best in the business, if not the best. I appreciate you.
So I just want to ask you one more question before we let you go. So I had high hopes for Kash Patel. I had high hopes that he would actually come in and do what they said and clean house, because he was on the outside and he was debunking Russiagate in real time when the FBI was pushing it. And so he was used to going against the establishment in that way. And I thought he would come in, and him and Dan Bongino, I thought that there was a good chance that they would do what they were saying because they had been saying that stuff for so long. And Kash Patel actually had a track record of going against the establishment inside the FBI when it came to the Russiagate. Were you, how surprised are you at how quickly the MAGA movement has unraveled, not only because of the Epstein and Donald Trump calling people weak and idiots who want the real, but the fact that they're covering that up, they're covering up the Charlie Kirk assassination investigation. That's a cover up. They didn't cut any of that Doge money from the federal budget. They just moved it over to the Pentagon and the deficit's still exploding. They're not doing it. So there's all these things, and then they're bombing Iran, bombing Yemen. Now they're bombing Venezuela. They're threatening to bomb Nigeria, Colombia. So how disillusioned are you with this administration and Kash Patel in particular?
Yeah, Jimmy, I'm open about the fact that I'm a paid, activist for the Republican Party. Not everything I say, but I tell people that I regularly take place specifically with political campaigns and appointments, that I am on payroll to try to get people to push our agenda across, right? It's not a shameful thing. It's like, I'm a Republican, I work with the Republican Party, and I try to push our agenda into the place. I lobbied for Kash Patel. I took money from Republican NGOs to promote Kash Patel to my audience. I'm sorry about that, guys. I thought so too. So, you're saying, I feel stupid. I guess I'll put that few grand into my $5 million bucket that I don't have. We'll just drop it in. But yeah, no, I'm a political person. I work, in a lot of jobs. I do a lot of things, and it's embarrassing. It's becoming embarrassing to realize that we voted this in. That H-1B nail in the coffin where Trump's saying, we just don't have the talent. You got Ben Shapiro, Trump says, Ben Shapiro being like, if you shouldn't expect to be able to afford where you grew up. And you're like, yeah. Really, Ben? Really? You hear that and you go, how many stacks of $100 bills is your bed frame made out of for you to think that that was going to go over with the American people? And sometimes I feel like with Trump, it's like, does it feel that good to suck the tip of Netanyahu's imperialistic dick that's just been waging and casting its shadow over the United States of America for this long? Like, are you enjoying that? Because I'm tired of being told to go on my knees and beg, to the people, and they're going after me now too. There's this concerted effort now to try to get me investigated by Congress. Now, during this lawsuit, I don't know if you've seen this. People like Will Chamberlain, these very powerful, trust fund babies that work with these groups, that they're trying to say that they think I'm like funded by Russia. All because what? Because I posted about criticism of Israel, because I'm not letting them sue me. If you resist the Zionist militant occupation of our country, if you resist that, your life will be miserable. I was thinking about that today. I was walking through customs. I was getting back from El Salvador. I work with the government down there. I love it. It's a great government. God bless Nayib Bukele. And I looked at the wall and I see the Israeli Airlines plane outside with the big Star of David. And I was like, I'm going to be honest, I was feeling like, oh. And I go, what am I doing? Like, why am I disgusted by that? And I go, you know why I'm disgusted by it? It's not because I'm against Jews. It's because, these people have made telling the truth about them so difficult that the average person has become so self and voluntarily brainwashed that people don't even want to talk about it. They're afraid to speak. And what kind of atmosphere has that set in America? There are topics we're afraid to speak about. We'll mock North Korea like, oh, just don't speak poorly of Kim Jong-un. You can talk crap about Kim Jong-un, or you can talk crap about Islam, but you're going to tell me we can't be honest about our captors? I felt shameful today, Jimmy. I felt shameful because I was sitting there like, man, what if I literally thought this thought. And I think a lot of Americans think this, especially people who speak out on this issue. I go, man, what if I just never started speaking about this issue? What if I just shut up? What if I just never got involved in this and just did like an Officer Talmud Tatum, grift and became the House, black, and just, spoke whatever the party told me to, and said that Israel was our greatest ally. What if I just did the Breland Hollyhand, Daddy Warbucks type of, Richie Rich's Christmas list, but Israel edition? What if I just did that? Wouldn't my life be better? And you know what? I'd put a gun in my mouth, and my children would be without a father if I chose that. I realize, I have to have principle here. And it's not like this moral grandstand. It's just like, I owe it to my children. My children are disadvantaged because of these people. Even the negative things people think about our country. Like, oh, well, everyone sues in America. No, they don't. There's certain people that do, but not everybody does. But there are people, they're not like us. They're Eastern. They don't hold our values. And I don't want to get you in trouble. And I don't even know the tone of how serious I should go here. But I think I wasn't as radicalized, but I'm radicalized now. If you can try to bankrupt my company, destroy my livelihood, and ruin my country, and take about a dozen people's jobs away and their ability to feed their families, all because you don't like what I said about a foreign country, then damn well you better believe that whatever that foreign country is, which is Israel, that I'm going to sacrifice more than that. I'm going to be willing to put it all on the line. Since you forced it on the line, I'm willing to fight it on the line right here, right now, Cash. Right here, right now, Alexis. I'm ready for the fight. Okay? So I have lawyered up. I have a great legal team, and I'm ready to go. We are ready for whatever it is you want to do. We're going forward with it. You guys are great. Or you can drop it, and you can figure out what you want to do. We'll give you your time to think about it. But I do recommend in the moment that everybody listening to this realizes it's not going to stop until more people speak up. Okay? It's just, if they're not going to stop, and they're going to do everything they can to erode you. You heard Jonathan Greenblatt of the ADL say, he said, it's just in enough time we're going to get control of the information. And it's like a dystopian nightmare. And you don't have to be an anti-Semite, anti-Jewish. You can be a Jew. Join us to Jewish people out there that see the evilness of this. This is anti-Americanism. And it doesn't matter if you're Christian or you're Muslim or you're Jewish. Join us against this, because it's destroying us, it's rotting us, and it's ruining lives. And I refuse to be another victim.
Elijah Schaffer, of Rift TV. Thanks for coming on, and thanks for sharing your story, and good luck. I see good things coming out of this for you. I do. I think everybody sees this for what it is, and I think it'll only hurt Kash Patel and this administration, and only elevate you. And so good. Best of luck to you on that, and thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much.
Okay. All right. We're going to jump to Rumble now. So let's judge.
Okay. Let me make
Steph
sure.
Steph is going to save your super
Rumble
chats,
Rats.
and we'll read them on the other side, right?
Yes.
All right. So we'll see you over there.
And it's all pinned.
Do I have any reads or anything? Okay. All right. We'll see you over at Rumble.
Okay, here we go. Keep in mind the released emails were from 2011, which were 2 years after Epstein's controversial deal in Florida was made public. Everyone knew P. Walker. Okay, Savage, the New York Times, all that fits to print, and you put the Jew York Times. All righty, thank you, Savage. Next. U.S. approved clone meat in 2008 without labels too. That one just still shocked me. I'm moving to the Union of Kyrgyzstan Republic. Who's with me? No name me only. That no name only. It's all squished together. All right, thank you for that one. Canada is losing its speech, its rights, its history, its beauty, and its meat. Mark Carney is killing Canada to become a vessel state for the WEF. Kids Corner. Neo-mortal girl, message received, wink, wink. A stomach worm, yes. Happy birthday. Rusty George, Steph is half Mexican, half New Jersey. How did you guess? How did you know? Okay, another deal goes down. Blank's over-the-top act is getting her exposure, but she's virtue signaling, not a true believer. Another deal goes down. I'm right with you on that one, amigo. Did you get my message on WGN employee being beaten, dragged by ICE only to be released an hour later? Sickening what's happening in Chicago and elsewhere. Yes, Kids Corner. Jimmy Dore, we all are Americans and we all need the same things. Good schools, good jobs, health care, legal pot. 3 out of 4 ain't bad. Thank you, John, for the reminder. Oh, what is this? Sadiva Kentist Bear, much appreciated for that. And your Hordar is pretty strong. Funny. All right, let's go here. Picket fences. Where are you? If you didn't know, Cash has been interviewed about 8 different times by the Q Theory Show X22 report here on Rumble. Just search it. Thank you, Picket Fences. Okay, Hatchet 42, thank you very much. Orion, Pete Buttigieg, Tulsi Gabbard, Ivanka Trump, Jared Kushner, Dan Crenshaw all went to the WEF programs. Hassan Piker fan, just do what they say and you won't get hurt. If you are not doing anything illegal, then you should have nothing to worry about until they plant some evidence on you, right? Are you with me? Hey, Jim says, F Israel. Jim comes back with, guess what? F Israel. Then it gets even more. Jim doubles down with F Israel, F Israel. Okay, thank you for that. Going to even address that victim is Virginia Giuffre, drunken pinata. Massey won't have the necessary GOP votes when the House comes back. Watch. Is likely why there's more going on to the House recess than Epstein. P. Walker. All right. Love this guy. Knows his stuff and knows the case and accompanying info so well. 7 Red Rum. We support you, E. Praying for you. Your autistic SOBs love you. Just popping. Or no, just pooping. Lap my ass off. Why are you redeeming? J.A. Boombox Boy countersue and turn Cash Patel into Coins Patel. Don't be sympathetic towards Trump. He sold out way before he became president. Fuck that guy. Another deal goes down. Oh, wait a minute. I had a, here we go. Roger, to answer the question about Larry Sharpe for governor of New York, he is a libertarian forced to run independent because of Governor Cuomo putting into the budget raising of the signature threshold for third-party candidates to qualify for the ballot. Completely wiped thirds off the map. So yes, he is not part of the duopoly. Thank you for bringing that back to our attention. Roger. Okay, let's go with this one. Will Chamberlain and Mike Davis are actively involved in the next iteration of our justice system, both rabid Zionists. Don't forget to thank them both for the ACB nomination. Hold on, you get a gong for that. Where is it? Coming your way. Stand by, moving a cup. Here we go. Uh-oh. That's a loud one. Chuck. Thank you, Chuck. Here we go. Hope Johnson. All right. Hope Johnson, thank you. It's all fun and games to life to people for money until it happens to you. Oh, Hope Johnson coming in strong. Back to Mr. Jim.